Ask a lot of questions because we're gonna have plenty of time. But let me tell you who we are, what we do, and then, so we're food safety. We know the industry as AFS. We provide an ecosystem of services that comply with food safety, organic regulation, social responsibility, FDA, anything you need in regards to the food that you need for export, sell. We do everything from avocados to zucchini, from processed foods to grains, right? And we travel and we do business all over Canada, US, Mexico, Central and South America, and we go as far as the Philippines for seafood. So we have experience, we combine multiple industries into your industry so that we can help you there. Those are just some of the programs. If you ever need help, most of the people call me when they're already in trouble. So I'm known to be an ambulance. That's my info. Those are some of the things that we can help with. I think that's the information that you need for your industry, but we also do intentional adulteration, detention without physical examination. If any of your clients get in detention, we can get them out of detention. It's not easy and it's not inexpensive. It's very expensive, but it can be done. We have taken out of detention multiple companies over Argentina, Chile, and Mexico. So if anyway, the one that is pretty hard, if you get on detention, is for the FSBT. Because there is not enough resources on the FDA to really review your case. So that not only is costly, but it takes a lot of time to be out of detention without physical examination for the FSBT. And I'll cover that. So I will start, but since we're a short group, I would like to take 2 minutes so you can present yourselves. Tell me who you are, what do you do, and what do you expect from this presentation. So let's start.
Sure. My name is Steve Flores. I'm with C&J Logistical Services. We're a U.S. Customs broker.
Okay.
I don't handle any produce, but I've been approached by a couple companies. Learn a little bit more before I take them on.
Awesome. So you don't handle produce. Do you handle any other sorts of foods like pet food, processed food?
No.
Okay. See, I'm just skipping over because I know you're going to be asking a lot of questions. There's a lot of legal details. Leslie.
Well, my name's Leslie. I work at Removal Produce and I do food safety there.
Might I give you some time?
My name is Mara Martinez. I work at the Removal Produce and I'm the general manager.
I'm David Medina and I'm food safety manager at
Welcome.
I'm Edward Santos, Santos International U.S. Customs Brokers.
Welcome, sir.
Christy Cantu, I'm in sales with Santos International.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sandra Moreno. I'm working for India produce the papaya. And I just come from Mexico just 2 months ago. And I just started with English.
No worries. And I'm going to be doing bilingual stuff, okay? So voy a brincar de español y inglés.
And I did take the training in Spanish over there. And just kind of see if any update for last year.
Yep.
I do understand that.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And thank you for coming on all the effort. I think you're doing fantastic, better than I am. But usually when I give these presentations here, I usually go and look in Spanish. And I got to switch my cheek now.
It's okay, I understand.
Brandon Lakos with the Devil Distributing Food Safety Manager.
Welcome. I actually saw your sign when I was going to Colleroy. And I was like, I got to stop at that facility, but I just kept going because it was raining. Wow, I'm glad you came.
I'm just taking a refresh. I was here the last time.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Janelli Ramirez. I'm the food safety coordinator at Redstone Farms. I recently got promoted, so this is all new to me. So I'll just learn a little bit more about the program.
But yeah, we'll learn a lot. We'll learn a lot. Believe me, if you ask me questions, you will learn even more. Okay, so my name is Carlos Islas. I work with AFS. Been in food safety for almost 30 years. Like I said, we do everything. So it's a lot of. If you have questions, even if it's not related to this and you need help right now, let me know. We're here to help. We're here to help and protect public health while helping our customers' brand names. So I am gonna start. Can you guys hear me okay, or do I need a microphone?
You need the microphone.
I need a microphone.
And the reason why you need the microphone is because,
Oh,
the young lady over there, she's gonna transmit that, it's gonna be live stream, right? So
wow, we're gonna be live on TV.
one thing I just have to say is that this right here, it's, don't take it for granted, the gentleman here is coming all the way from Arizona, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. Today's the moment, this is for you guys.
Yeah, definitely it's for you. All right, so I'm gonna start with, I always start with the scariest stuff, all right? But whatever I start with, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Whatever I start with is real, all right? I don't make up stuff, I don't fake stuff. It comes from the FDA directly. So during 2024, we have, so far, we have 14 warning letters to multiple companies. Here's a list of those. When you get a warning letter from the FDA, the next step, you are put on detention. Like I said before, detention is pretty hard to get out of, especially with the FSVP. But if you have a grower that gets in detention, that's a different story. So here are the companies that just got, I hope it's none of you, some of the warning letters. Sometimes I get in trouble, like, what do you put my name? Oh, just go to the website, it's right there, right? Just transfer from one place to the other, right? So we're gonna go to the FSVP, and I'm gonna give you some numbers because it is important for you to see the trend that the FDA has been doing in the last 2 years. 2-3 years as to how many warning letters they issue, which years they issue. Here are the inspections for 2023 that got some warning letters. And I didn't go as far as 2022, but here's just a graphic. So we got 81 in 2022, 41 in 2023, and so far we got 16 on 2024. So this is how it looks right now with warning letters. As you can see, and you will relay later on, the inspections kind of like went up, and now they're dipping a little bit. That doesn't mean they're gonna stop, okay? I think they're just waiting for the 3-year revision, and what I'm gonna show you next, you're gonna see that there's been a lot of revisions of the FSVP programs, and a lot of customers are failing on that because they are not keeping up with the paperwork. They are not reevaluating their suppliers. They are not doing risk assessments or verification activities at the grower level. So this is real, this is happening right now. So what do you need to do to prevent, to be and avoid a warning letter? The first thing you need to do is obviously have your program in place. But if you get audited, if the FDA gives you an audit and it gives you non-compliances, you need to respond to those compliances within 15 working days. If you don't do that, if you forget about it, if you send it to the wrong email, because what I've seen the most is that people that send the corrective action send it to the same officer that did the inspection, your corrective actions are not gonna get there in time. You have to send it to the email that the inspector is going to give you at the end of the inspection. Make sure it goes to that email. And if you have been inspected, you already know the email. So send it to that email, 15 working days, so usually it's like 3 weeks. Almost 3 weeks, because Saturday and Sunday doesn't count, so But respond. Respond with something, even if you don't send any documents, hey, I'm aware, this is my corrective action, this is my corrective action plan, this is what I plan to do. And whatever you write, make sure you really do it. Because on the next inspection, they're gonna come back and say, well, this is your corrective action plan, because they have everything on the database. And it doesn't matter which inspector it goes, they all read your case. And make sure you really close those corrective actions. Okay? The second thing you're gonna do, well, that's a corrective action or corrective action plan. And when I say corrective action plan, because sometimes, like in your case, the corrective action plan is I am going to implement the following. I'm gonna do testing, I'm gonna talk to my supplier, see how far we can go with our foreign supplier. So I am not providing evidence right now, but I'm telling them about my plan, what I am going to be doing in the future. And that's key to avoid getting letters. Don't commit the same offenses the next year. Because if you don't close those corrective actions, if you still have the same issues that you had before, that brings red flags to the next inspector, or the inspector that is doing your audit. All right, so make sure that whichever offenses you committed last year, the last revision, they don't come back to you. And I'm gonna go to some table later on where we have seen companies that they keep doing the same offense and they're getting in trouble now. The other one that I see a lot is be very proactive. I know the FSVP is a lot of paperwork. I know the FSVP is a lot of revisions. I know the FSVP is a lot of checking with your suppliers, getting those documents, signing, dating. You have to be very proactive. If you're not proactive and you're only gonna get ready for an audit 10 days or 3 days before the inspector calls you, good luck. You're gonna get corrective actions. I'm pretty sure. Because the program requires a lot of paperwork and a lot of revisions. Nowadays, because we began, in 2019, 2020, 2021, that's when the FDA inspections began going up. Well, it's probably more than 3 years, right? 2024. Probably most of you by now need to have your revision. That means that you review every single supplier. When do you need to review every single supplier? How often? ¿Cada cuándo lo necesitan revisar?
Once a year or when something changes.
When something changes, or the regulation says every when? Every 3 years. So if nothing changes, you can approve, reevaluate your suppliers every 3 years. But what if I have a cilantro supplier, it got put on hold, and it turns out that that cilantro supplier, we got a test from the FDA and it was positive for pesticides. What happens then? ¿Qué hacen en ese momento cuando ese proveedor tuyo es monitoreado y sale positivo de pesticidas? Oh, you guys have a microphone for it?
You should just.
Detention, no. You put it on hold. But on your FSVP, what do? You need to reevaluate that supplier. A lot of companies are not doing that. They're putting product on hold and they're like, nothing happened, boom, boom. Well, guess what? Don't you think the FDA inspector has all that data that your product was put on hold and it was rejected? Of course they do. Okay. So make sure that if you get a product on hold, you reevaluate that supplier and your program. Because maybe you have multiple suppliers. So just make sure of that. So be very proactive. This is not, don't take it easy. Things happen. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this database that is just, on the South Texas area. I'm gonna have to exit my presentation, plus. So here are the inspections. This is as far as 425 April. I don't have more current data, and I hidden a lot of information, just to be fair with everybody. But this is a short description as to what happened to this, and every single one that I'm gonna show to you is here on the valley. It's Island Far, Edinburgh, McAllen, all the produce around here, okay? And later on, I'm gonna show you that download this data if you need to see it. So this is a company that was visited, maybe 3 years ago. The investigator, they're not inspectors, they're investigators, what they did is that you did not document your promptly reevaluated foreign suppliers' performance or risk assessment. So there was not a reevaluation. So these guys were probably already visited for, and there's not a reevaluation of that. Or maybe something happened with that supplier, and it hasn't been reevaluated.
So that's one.
The other one, you did not document or took appropriate actions after the reevaluation of your foreign supplier. So this guy reevaluated the supplier, but they didn't do anything about it. If you reevaluate, you have to follow the whole document trail going to your foreign supplier. Okay? Please don't just do the reevaluation sign it, we're done. No.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding the reevaluation. Would that be, because once you put them on hold, everything like in the past, you're not purchasing them. Would you like, would that be that money? Or if you start buying, it would be if you start buying them.
You do the reevaluation when you have an issue. If you just put the product on hold, there's gonna be a process of testing.
Oh, you mean you have product in warehouse?
Yeah. Or you need to reevaluate your supplier at least once every 3 years, if nothing happens. So I'm gonna give you another example. Let's say you import cabbage. And cabbage will be under the leafy greens, but that's another, it will be leafy greens, right? So they're higher risk commodity. And let's say we have an outbreak of E. coli in cabbage today, or lettuce. Well, even if it wasn't you, the one that caused the outbreak, you still need to reevaluate your potatoes and cabbage supply. Because something may happen in the industry. So I'm gonna take it closer to home. We had an outbreak of Listeria with cannabis melons not too long ago. December last year. So if I'm importing melons, regardless of their cannabis or not, I need to reevaluate my suppliers so that my suppliers don't bring salmonella.
All right, or mitigate the risk for salmonella contamination. So, but if nothing happens, if everything is linear, then the reevaluation is every 3 years. All right. It's a clear. Any more questions on that? Because it's good. The other ones, they didn't develop an FSBP. The FSBP took, it was like, I even forgot the date. It's 2018. For produce importers was July 26, 2018, when they had to be in compliance with the FSBP. It's been, 6 years? And they still don't have an FSBP program. Right? That shouldn't happen by now, but it happens, and there's a lot of them. The other one that I've seen a lot is you did not document your hazard analysis. It was conducted by another entity, and this happens a lot when you hire external consultants, and they do the work for you, but you don't review it. You don't sign it. That could get you in trouble. All right. Usually what we do with our clients is I created it, I did it, but you sign it, you date it, and you're responsible, buddy, because I'm not gonna go to court next week. All right. And that's actually what needs to happen. If you're not getting that from your person that is helping you, then talk to them. So anybody can do your documents, anybody can do your program, but you're still responsible for reviewing, signing, and dating that program. And the person that did the program needs to be a qualified individual. And I'll talk to you about that later on. You did not document the evaluation review. Okay, so this is an evaluation review, an assess evaluation. Well, it's the same as the. Look how many of them didn't develop an FSVP. And this is as far as April, March. I should be having a lot of business, but it's not coming this way. I don't know where it's going. Hazard analysis. Your hazard analysis did not identify the hazard that requires a control. So a lot of you that are in food safety, you know that hazard analysis, we know what's a hazard, right? What's a hazard? Something that contaminates. In food safety, what's a hazard? That's good, but what's a hazard? Come on, let's take a look. Okay, any biological, chemical, physical, or radiological agent that can cause harm and illness to humans or pets, right? So if you don't do a correct hazard analysis of the food that you are importing, then you have issues with your hazard analysis. So the investigator is going to actually review your hazard analysis, right? Now, if you find that Cyclospora is a hazard for the product that you import, then you have to have what is your supplier doing to prevent Cyclospora in the product that you import. And you have to verify that they have the steps and procedures to minimize the risk of having Cyclospora. That's what you have to do. Yeah, and that requires time and paper. Just to give you an idea, I know which products you import. Which products do you import? So I can give you more examples. Yeah. All kinds. Okay, cilantro, watermelons. All right. You? All right, tomatoes. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to give you more examples on those commodities. Cucumbers, peppers. Yeah, I don't know. Papaya. That's your. Do you import or no? You're not brokers. Okay. So if I do my hazard analysis in tomatoes, all right, and my hazard analysis tells me that I have a microbiological agent, which is Salmonella, because there's been a lot of cases of Salmonella with tomatoes. So now, do I need a preventive control for that? Yes. What's my preventive control? My supplier to comply with product safety rule, with that where you add or write how your supplier is gonna minimize the risk on your hazard analysis. That's what your suppliers needs to be doing. So whatever you write, you have to now make sure that they really are doing those things over there, which that means the verification activities, all right? Now, a lot of us say, well, just do a third-party audit. And yeah, the third-party audit will be a verification activity. But the third-party audit is only good for the day when the audit took place. Right? So you need to find ways. Then the frequency of the verification activities. And this is going back to how do you verify that your supplier meets compliance? When you write your process and procedures, los procesos, procedimientos, cuando los escribes, you have to say how often you're going to do the verifications activities. Cada cuándo van a hacer las verificaciones o las actividades de verificación. If you write on your SOP that you're only going to do it once a year, well, it's only once a year. If you do it every month, then you're going to do it every month. So when I do audits on FSVPs from companies, because sometimes I just do the audit or whatever they got, Sometimes it says, oh, we review this every month. Okay, show me the documents every month. Oh, we don't have it. Well, shit, don't write it every month. Put it, you just do it whenever you have time, but do it. And whichever your risk assessment tells you to do. This one did not make required FSB records available promptly. You know what happens here? This is when an investigator goes to your facility and they tell you, I'm here to do your FSBP inspection. You know, so llegan ahí, se sienten, no se sienten, entonces te dicen, hey, vengo a hacer la inspección de la FSBP. And everybody starts running. Hey, the FDA is outside, la FDA está afuera. Viene no sé por qué. Finalmente, the food safety guy goes back and says, oh yeah, FSBP, okay, come over, sit. But we don't have records. And they only have patience for so much time because the FSBP plan should be present at your facility unless it's at a corporate office. And then you have 24 hours to get that FSBP plan at your facility. But if your FSBP plan is in digital format, that means it should be there. Okay. So si lo tienes en forma digital, a fuerza lo tienes que entregar ahí. Si está fuera en otra empresa que es parte tuya, then you got 24 hours. 24 horas para regresarlo. So these guys did not provide the document promptly, and that's a write-off. So if you don't have it, hey, I don't have it, all right? Done. But don't try to tell them something you don't have because they're gonna find out. Okay, this is, you did not document or obtain documentations of one or more supplier activities after the importing of the food. So what they did, they have an FSBP plan, they have process procedures, but when they had the inspection, they didn't have the verifications activities that reflected the plan. So si haces tu plan, haz lo que tu plan dice. Si tú les dices que va a hacer verificaciones cada año, cada mes, cada 6 meses, ten la documentación. Because they're going to go through it. More did not develop FSBP. You did not conduct an evaluation review of the assess, an evaluation conducted by another entity. This is similar to what we talked before. Okay, here. You did not conduct a document or obtain documentation of one or more supplier on your verification activities. Does not have an FSBP. So as you can see, there are a lot of them that start now repeating, right? So what I noticed, the trend is that either you don't have an FSBP, you're not following the verification activities, or you're not doing reviews on your current FSBP. So the update for you today, the FSBP plan hasn't changed. Woohoo, now we are lights. Oh, it looks better. So the FSBP plan and the regulation hasn't changed. It's still the same. What you need to do is go back, review your plan, and make sure that you have your verification activities, that you have your revisions, or if you need to review a supplier, if you need to bring up supplier to speed, that's what you need to do. The FDA hasn't changed the way they do their inspections either. So las inspecciones van a ser or in person or remote. If they are in person, they expect you to have everything in there. If they are remote, you're going to have to upload most of the documents to Furls. Then they're going to give you a key and access code, and you're going to upload the documents. They had issues with Furls in the past, so we end up giving all the documents to the inspector. Pero si no hay problemas con el Furls, they're going to ask you to, te van a preguntar que lo subas al Furls, right? And you need to upload all those documents. All right, so I'm going to move to the next slide now. Any questions for now? And the reason why I went through this one is because this will give you a 360 view of what you really need to do based on the findings. Once you have your plan, of course. So I am gonna go to the following. So vamos a lo siguiente, ¿qué sigue? Okay, so what do I do? Hey, you come to me, it's like, what do I do? Well, update your FSVP. That's what you need to do. That's one of the things you gotta get out of here and say, hey, we gotta review this thing. Because you don't know when they're gonna go to your office, or you don't know when they're gonna go to your facility. Verify your suppliers. Make sure that you are doing the verification activities. Todas las actividades de verificación se están haciendo. If it's testing, if it's auditing, if it's verifications on site, do them. All right. We have, I know it sounds like commercial, but we do about 600 to 1,000 verification visits in Mexico every year for multiple suppliers multiple clients that we have, where we send our people to the verification. And we do the verification only on the regulation 112, which is a product safety rule. It's 21 CFR 112. Why? Because that's what they are asking to be in compliance with, right? Are they telling you to be in compliance with a third-party audit? They need to be in compliance with the regulation. Your client might ask you to be in compliance with a third-party audit. That's why I tell you there were like two bosses, FDA and the clients. Each one of them requires different things. They, at one point they mix together, but they're not the same, all right? So we do a lot of the product safety rule inspections. And we also, when the FDA goes to Mexico and we have clients that have inspections, we also help them get prepared. But once again, this doesn't happen 3 days before the inspection, okay? It's a food safety culture that needs to be in place. So una cultura de inocuidad que debe estar ahí. Keep your records up to date. I think through the last 45 minutes or 20 minutes that I've been talking about records, verifications, SOPs. Keep them up to date. Review them every quarter, but internally, just take the time. Because you could be missing something that, out of your FSVP, this is something not too many people do because they say, we have it, blah, blah, blah. All right. Well, take opportunity to have somebody else review your FSVP before the regulatory agency goes and does your inspection. That will give you time to say, we're missing this, we're missing this. There are simple things. I got a call a couple days ago and said, hey, we don't have our documents in English, and the FDA doesn't want to take them. Well, you need to have your documents in English. Now, not everything has to be in English. You can, as a qualified individual, you can sign, review, date, write your notes. Here's my revision. Here is what we did. Here are the documents. They might come in Spanish, but I, as a qualified individual for this facility, review them, sign them, date it. I'm responsible. That's what you're saying. Those will be good. But if you submit the Senacica report in Espanol and you write in Espanol and everything in Spanish, it's going to get back to you and they're going to give you a non-compliance. Documents not in English. Okay? So take advantage. Be proactive. Questions so far? Well, let me ask a question. Whatever I cover so far, boring, good, bad, ugly?
You get a sincere answer from the gentleman right there up front.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure because I want you to really take advantage. I really enjoy coming to give this because I also do it privately, but when I come over here and get the group, because I think that, once again, our mission is to protect public health. And if we can help you, we know that you're also doing something to protect public health. This is kind of a weird slide because I copied this from the class. Do you mind if we turn off the lights a little bit because I chosen the wrong colors? Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad there's a lot of spaces in between though. Okay, hazard analysis. That's the first thing you have to do. If you take in the class, si ustedes han tomado la clase, the class, this is the core, esto es lo fuerte de la clase. So you have to do your hazard analysis for the commodity that you import, okay? Only for the product that you import. I see hazard analysis where they start telling me, oh, the packing and the storage, no. That's not what the regulation is asking for. It's only the commodity. The second part, you're going to evaluate your supplier. You go through the class, they'll tell you what is the website, so evaluate the supplier based on the product that they're sending to you, the history with the FDA, the history with food safety audits, the history with food safety compliance. Then you approve that supplier, then you verify that whatever documents they send to you, they're legit. You know, whatever they tell you they're doing, they do. Those are the verification activities. And then you go to reevaluate your foreign supplier at least every 3 years, and when an issue happens, dance number, I'm gonna cover that because that everybody should have one by now. Well, what I seen on the dance number is that somebody began asking for dance numbers to growers, and they were using the growers dance number for import. As custom brokers, no. It has to be the dance number of the importer. If they are a growers, right, grower shipper, it's not somebody that is brokering or buying from the local market. If they are growers, they don't need to be FDA registered. All right. And that's another issue that I see with brokers that they ask, no, you need to have an FDA number for the supplier. If they're a grower, they are exempt. Okay? So my custom brokers here, just make sure don't, because then I'll going to send you a lot of files. Then the importance of records. We've been talking about records most of the class here. And then the FDA oversight, that's what you see in the class. That's primarily your FSBP plan. The most important things of your plan is going to be the first 4 items: hazard analysis, evaluation of your foreign supplier, supplier verification, and then your records. Now you can bring the lights back. And your suppliers either need to be in compliance with the product safety rule or the prevent and control rules. You can turn back the lights here. Oh, thank you. In your case, the example that you gave me, maybe it's not your case, but in the example that you gave me, if I have an importer, you know, it is my importer. Well, this is my supplier. This is my watermelon supplier that buys from multiple farms, okay? He is no longer a foreign supplier. He is a facility that repacks and sends me product. If they don't own more than 51% of the product that they send me, they need to be registered with the FDA, and automatically they fall under the preventive controls rules, which the preventive controls rules requires of them to have a qualified individual, be registered with the FDA, and have a supplier approval program. That's regulation 21 CFR 117. If they are a farmer that ships watermelons to me through their own packing house and they own more than 51% of the product, they do not need to register with the FDA. They do not fall under the preventive controls rules. They fall under the product safety rule, 21 CFR 112. And you have to make that distinction. Because a lot of the times you're probably getting a supplier that is falling on the preventive controls rules, and you are doing all the documents as if it was from the product safety rule, completely different. Will that change? Don't really know. But I know that you need to be in compliance with regulation. Inspections are here to stay. Might be more, might be less. I don't really know. I don't work for the agency. I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give you legal consulting. I don't work for them. But what I can tell you, what I can show to you, is that there's a dashboard for the work that the FDA does across the US and internationally. And you're not able to see it because it didn't change over there. Hold on. Here it is. This is what I can come and see how the FDA is, being proactive or reactive to the industry. This just gives us an idea, right? But remember when everybody was getting visited by the FDA on 22, 23? Like everybody was so panicking because they didn't have FSVP or whatever. But this is why. This is how many inspections they did. And well, that's internationally, but this is national, locally. Well, not locally, USA. As the other way around, domestic, domestic and international and foreign, sorry. Thanks for the clarification. So here are my domestics, here are my foreigners. I know that year I was traveling a lot to help growers to meet compliance with FDA. This year, it's dipping down. I think there's going to be a cycle. And I don't know what they're going to do, but this is what the statistics show today. Now, if you want to go and see the citations, you can see them here. And this is citations for everything. It's not only FSVP, okay? It's also when they go, because you can get an inspection to verify your in and out facility or your packing housing. So there's two types of citations. There's two types of inspections that you can get: the FSVP and your GMP compliance. And I'll tell you a funny story that happened to me last year here in the Valley. So as you can tell here, of all the inspections that they did on 2023, I think it is, 17 to 24, it's combined. 12.8% did not develop an FSVP. So it was high. And it's up to 2024, which is whichever months until June. So this gives you an idea as to what's going on. Here, where they doing a lot of inspections, so you can see Texas. That's a lot of them. California, obviously, Florida, all the import ports. And then you have a list of all the suppliers, all the FSVP inspections. This is where I got the Excel that I showed to you at the beginning. Okay. You can import all this data and use it whichever way you want. And it's public domain. So it's not like, oh, we're going to be inspecting, nobody's going to know about it. No, everybody's going to know about it. Maybe they don't know where to go to look for the data, but the data is right there. So welcome. So here it is. If you need links for all of this, I'm going to give it to Freddie, and then you can just ask for them. Or you can just email me, and I'll send it to you. All right, so I'll finish with the FSVP. Anything in particular that you're missing or would like to know more? Go ahead.
Any scientific importer is subject to these requirements?
If you import a box of tomatoes, you automatically are an FSVP importer. Therefore, you need to meet compliance. Only if you sell more than $1 million in food, right? But it's not only the food that you import. I'm gonna give you the case of a person that called me that he was bringing a lot of merchandise from Guatemala, and then he was bringing 1 pallet of bread every month, Guatemalan bread, right? So the cost of the bread was like $70 for each shipment. It wasn't even more than the whole year. It was, I think it was close than $1,000. But because the merchandise he sold at the same store was more than $1 million, he had to create an FSVP for the bread. So any food that is for human consumption needs to have an FSBP. Whether they fall on the preventive controls rules or the product safety rule, that's a different story because some of them are exempt, but not for the FSBP. That's why you have 3 different types of FSBP. Standard, which is most of you. Modified, which maybe I'm only checking for pesticides on my asparagus. Think about it. Asparagus are exempt on the product safety rule to be in compliance, but for the imports, you're not, because your risk assessment is going to tell you they might have pesticides, so now you have to have a mitigation strategy for the pesticides. So that will be a modified FSBP, and the third one is exempt. And exempt is only if you sell less than $1 million, and 2.5 for pet food. But once again, that's combined sales. So let's say I'm a broker here in the Valley, and I buy from all of you, but I also import 1 pallet of tomatoes a month. I'm done. I have to do the FSBP because I sell more than $1 million. Good questions. Anybody else? You're too quiet. Usually people ask a lot of questions, and you can pretend it's not about your company, you know, it's my friend's company. Okay, SOE. ¿Quién sabe qué es SOE? Who knows what's SOE? Something with organics. Yeah. Strengthening organic enforcement. Who imports organic from here? ¿Quién importa orgánicos? Okay, as a broker, yeah, yep. You will be affected. Wow. Okay. You import organics, but you don't sell as organics. Are they labeled organic? Are they certified over there? So you import organics, you know, meaning your supplier, is your supplier certified organic? So and that's good, but a couple issues are coming up in my mind. The first one is, the guys that sell the product to you, do they import it as organic? Well, you import it, so you import it as conventional. You don't import it as, but you import it as conventional, and it has the USDA logo on the boxes. No, all right. So then. But you asked if we import, so we import. We just don't say that. All right. Yeah, I think what I'm going is you just have to be careful that even if you sell it as conventional or non-certified organic, none of the boxes have the USDA logo, certified by, because somebody down the supply chain is gonna say, "Oh, this is organic product, let's sell less organic." I mean, doesn't work like that. Yes, Mayra. So, yeah, so on the in and out business, you have to, so if they tell you, oh, put it as conventional, then you protect yourself with the email, with any sort of letter that you may ask for them, any communication that you have from them telling you that that product is going to be sold as conventional. And then I will say, I will recommend that you scratch that logo or put a sticker on the boxes, but it's not longer your responsibility. It's their responsibility. Just put it in writing.
It goes on two different, it can be based on labeling and based on actual product. So labeling is a big issue when it comes down to, obviously you don't want to buy conventional, so organic is that's a big no. But you can do organic into conventional as long as nobody can have the access to say that it's organic. So a change of boxes must always happen, or unless you want to cross out, but you have to make sure that the labeling does not come off at all.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I've been seeing somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, and also on the paperwork on your sale or your invoice, you don't write organic. So if they get audited, and for somehow it was sold as organic, but then on the invoice said no, that was conventional, then they get in trouble.
And then the organic society or industry or people, consumers, that would be the word. The organic consumers are a big force, so you just don't want to mess around with that. So just to make sure that nobody has the access of selling organic. Conventional is organic or
So what you're gonna do in your food prevention plan, you're gonna have to have a section for that. Organic food prevention plan. All right. All right. So I'm gonna move forward. And I'm gonna spend a little time on this. So NOP, and I'm gonna get to your answer in a second right now. So with the SOE, what they actually implemented is that we do not commit any fraud, right? And you're gonna say, well, how could this be? Well, I'm gonna show you some certificates from last month that were fraudulent. You know, where the certificate said they're organic, but they were not. So that happens, okay? So this is why a lot of this regulation came into place. It went into effect this year, March 26 or 19, somewhere around those dates. That means that anybody that imports, brokers, handles, distributes, those in and out of organics that are packages that are not sealed need to be certified. So if you're a broker and you work from your home, but you're selling organics to him, you need to be certified, even though you don't even see the product. If you are an importer that goes directly to you and then you sell it out, you need to be certified organic. There are some exemptions, okay? And I'm not gonna go through all of them, but I'm pretty sure that if you import foods right now, you need to be certified organics. One of the exemptions is that this is a clam of tomatoes, right? Pretend it's a clam of tomatoes, and it's completely sealed where nobody can get into it, then you could be exempt because your product is tamper-proof. Nobody can get into those tomatoes. But most of the clamshells are not like that. All right, so make sure that you follow NOP. There's a lot of information, but this is the video that is going to answer a lot of questions. And I'm going to go to it today. If it goes, it's not going to show in there. I'm going to put this in here.
An electronic import certificate accompanies any shipment of organic agricultural products.
Oh, sorry. I'll restart this in a second. All right, now I'm gonna do it for reals.
An electronic import certificate accompanies any shipment of organic agricultural products being exported to the United States. While the shipment itself can travel by land, sea, or air, the import certificate associated with the shipment can be transferred electronically and may follow a slightly different process flow. In preparation for an export shipment, a certified exporter sends export shipment data to its certifier and requests an import certificate. The certifier, who is accredited either by the USDA or by another government under a trade arrangement with the USDA, verifies that the shipment is compliant, then issues the import certificate in the USDA Organic Integrity Database, Integrity if domestic, or in the Global Integrity Database if a trade partner. The certifier electronically transfers the import certificate and/or data to the requesting exporter, who then transfers it electronically to the importer in the United States. A physical copy does not need to accompany a shipment. Electronic transfer of records is already common in the industry. The U.S. importer or broker uploads the import certificate data into the Customs and Border Protection's Automated Commercial Environment, ACE, the electronic system through which the trade community reports imports and exports, and the government determines admissibility. The importer or broker also verifies compliance of the import, including confirmation that the shipment has a valid import certificate associated with the shipment. The NOP pulls shipment entry data from ACE to verify that the import certificate associated with the shipment is valid. The information is used to verify compliance with the USDA organic regulations, track shipment quantities, and conduct organic traceability investigations.
So
The NOP pulls shipment entry data from ACE to verify that the import certificate associated with the shipment is valid. The information is used to verify compliance with the USDA organic regulations, track shipment quantities, and conduct organic traceability investigations.
okay, let me.
The NOP.
Oh, come on. All right, so you can get the lights back on. Now we're gonna go to this. So by now, most of you that import organics are getting an import certificate. Your supplier gets an import certificate from the certification body. The certification body is gonna issue that certificate with a number. I'm gonna show you one example in a second. That automatically goes to customs, where you don't need the certificate. You only need either the number or your supplier's identification with the USDA, so that data, when you do click organics on your ACE system or whichever system you use, is gonna require you the information that you need from that certificate, and that should be already on the manifest and all the documents. That is linked to the USDA Organic Integrity Database. And this is where things get linked together. So if I import 1 million boxes of tomato, but my producer only it's able to produce 100,000, there's gonna be a discrepancy. And not everybody is looking at that. All right. So there's now ways in which the USDA can find out really how much product is being produced, how much product is being imported, and how much product is being sold. And I'm gonna tell you where that is. All of this is public domain. You can look at it at any time. Once again, the links, I can send it to you. It is. Any of you have used the USDA Data Integrity Database? Yeah. Anybody else imports organic besides them? No? All right. So this is the database where all the foreign suppliers or any suppliers are being certified. All right. So all you have to do is enter the name and they'll give you a certificate. And I'm just going to choose this one, okay, as an example. So I'm not going to touch anybody's certificate, even though they're public domain. So here, yeah, somebody got it. Here's the certificate. All right. There it is. Here's the operations ID, and the certificate number. This is the data that gets entered by the certification body on this database, and that links that supplier to the production of that particular site. Right. So you might think that just because you have this certificate, you're okay. Well, yeah, you are. You know, that's correct. You are. But if there's fraud being committed behind the scenes, the certification bodies also are linked to the same database. So when they issue the certificate, they only gonna issue it for the amount of product that you are producing. It could be by day, by quantity, whichever way they want. There's not, this is where they will come and log in. I have an account, but this is as far as I can go because I'm not an inspector, at least not yet. So this is like a regular certification body will come in and enter the data of the supplier. Come on. They will need to get registered. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they have access to all this data. So there's data on the background that you don't see, but it's right there. So what's going to happen, what I think is going to happen is that the USDA is going to say, oh, this is how much is getting imported, but this is how much is getting produced. There's a gap. Or everything is good. And then sanctions are going to start coming up. All right, so this is real stuff. So be careful, especially if you import product and it's more than what you think. Everything that the USDA has reports. Everything from market overview to retails to organics. But what I'm gonna go to, I'm gonna exit out of here. I'm gonna go to the public one. Sometimes when you're getting certified, if you only present this certificate, the certification body will not take it because they need to see all the commodities, all the labeling. And even though this is valid on the marketplace and it has the commodities that you are certified by, sometimes they may require the certification body that you're using the certificate from the certification body. So if I'm using PAO and somebody else is using KIMA, and I'm getting certified by PAO, I'm gonna ask for the certificate from KIMA, even though I have this certificate already on file. So you just make sure you're still getting your certificate. It doesn't happen always, but it does happen. And the other one that I'm gonna show to you, I need to go back over here. I'm just gonna copy paste it. Hold on. I still have to make my laptop to work to my browser. Oh, this is it. Okay, well, cover that. I was going to show you some of the fraudulent. What are they? Maybe they're right here. Yeah, here they are. All right, so everything you need as far as organic, whether you want to be in compliance with the final rule, whether you need information, whether you want to find out if somebody's committed fraud, is right here. Yeah, everything is public domain. It will be on the USDA organic, or the Agriculture Marketing Services, and just type in SOE and it's gonna take you there. But I'll send you the links, okay? I will send the links to everybody here. And then what I'm gonna show to you is, I'll find a rule, come on, let's, where are you? Huh, lost it. Well, let's go to my history. Rules, sources. Well, these are the reports. Let's see if you have it here somewhere. Well, I think I lost it for a second, but I'll find it. I just want to make you. Yes. No, I got it. Oh. I lost my. No, never mind. No, thank you. No, it's just that I was going to show him something else, but. Well, I am going to change gears. All right, so who needs to be certified organic? Anybody? Any ideas? In and out. Who else? Importers. Man, you saw that slide before. Anybody else? Brokers. No custom brokers. Okay? Brokers of food. Custom brokers are exempt. How about transportation? Does transportation needs to be certified? No. You need to have process and procedures in place to avoid commingling, but the regulation doesn't go to transporter. Traders, yep. Packers, if you pack, handle food, you need to be certified. Even if you are doing quality inspections and you're touching organic product, you need to be certified. And obviously, we call all these handlers, the ones that handle the product. That's under the organic regulation, they're handlers. There's brokers, handlers, importers, brokers. So there's more, but for your industry, this is what I kept it, okay? So if you're one of this and you handle organics, once again, even if you don't see the product, even if you just buy and sell, you need to get certified. And it's about $5,000 in sales, but that will be for growers, so never mind. If you need help with your OSP, OSP means Organic System Plan. We can help you with that. We can help you complete it. We can help you tell you which documents you need. We can help you with anything OSP. It sounds like acronyms, but any questions you have on your OSP or on your Organic System Plan, anything you would like to know. Algo que quieren saber del orgánico. Yeah. Yeah, it's services that some of the warehouses provide to clients just to store the product, ship the product. Nobody? Yep, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. It's really, really good point, and thank you for bringing that up, especially with custom brokers. They used to see one type of certificate, and then they don't want to take the other one, right? So to clear that out, just like she said, Leslie said, go to the integrity database, and it's right there. Because sometimes even the words, oh, but it doesn't look like this. Like, no, it's not going to look like that because it's a different certification body. I think the most important part for you guys is the certificate ID and the supplier ID. That's what you have to look into it, because that's what ties the certificate to a supplier. Good point. I'm trying to get this. But froze. This is a Mac. It can froze. Right? But it did. Jesus. Now I need help. That's why you eat Macs. See? Okay, well, anyway. So I don't want to keep complaining because then I'll be on YouTube. So I'm gonna move to. We're almost done out of here. It's small class, so we answer most of the questions. That's me. Once again, if you ever need help, I'm here to help you. Any questions that you might have? I'm gonna leave this for a second. Yes, sir.
I have a question going back on the FSVP.
Yep. Do you want the microphone, or you guys can hear him? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Is there a list of verification activities that the FDA, bare minimum, that when they come do an audit, they're saying that you must do this?
No, it's up to you. You're gonna tell the FDA which verification activities are on your SOP, and based on that, they're gonna base your inspection. Yeah. So verification activity, if you remember, it's anywhere from a test to an on-site verification.
But it could be anything, just a water sample, anything like that.
Now, once again, what I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna give you an overview, because if I tell you to do water samples, then I'll get in trouble. So water sample is one way, but it goes back to your risk assessment. Yeah. What commodity? If I bring tomatoes, but I also bring apples, which one does have a higher risk? tomatoes, right? Because we haven't seen, well, there's an outbreak on apples with listeria. But I've seen more outbreaks with salmonella on tomatoes. So a water test is not gonna make it. So it really depends on the risk of the commodity. It also depends on the regions where you bring in the product from. Because if I'm bringing cilantro from the south of Mexico, then cyclospora is gonna jump on my head like that. But if I bring cilantro from Baja, from Ensenada or Vizcaíno, then it's probably not gonna be there. That doesn't mean that it couldn't be there, but I'm not gonna be testing for cyclospora, whereas if I bring it for cilantro, I might test for cyclospora. So it really depends. There is not a straight answer. And when you write that document, you're the one that decides based on the risk. That's why the hazard analysis is like the first topic on the class. Does that make sense? Or yeah. And I'm sorry I cannot give you a straight answer because there's a lot of liability behind it. But I want to give you the tools so you can understand how to mitigate the problems.
And we've been in this situation, and probably a lot of people have been in the same situation where you may have imported a product, but maybe it was just a one-time deal. You did it one time, that was it. So, but, and this grower, I mean, absolutely has no food safety program. And, based on, again, if you're looking at your hazard analysis and everything, if they have no food safety analysis and you've already imported, I mean, if they come do an audit, I don't know, what would they really say at this point?
Well, there's two ways to get out of that, the right way and the wrong way. But the right way is, are you still importing from that? Well, let me ask you, are you still importer? No. Okay. So one of the options might be, it's no longer my supplier, it's on my drop list, I don't bring product from him anymore. And then they're gonna say, well, what is the approval form? I have my approval form, and on my approval form says pending verification activities. Because remember, on your standard operating procedures, SOP, OSP, SOP, SOP, you can write down emergency buys, approval pending. See, now you learned something new. It went. So that's how you do it. And you're right. You're in compliance. Didn't happen. It's no longer my supplier. Next. Basically, that's what you tell them.
But there has to be verification. There's requires in emergency fires. We have it separated, long term and then emergencies, because everybody has those. And they do require basic minimum, but you still have to verify. They will ask you. FDA will ask you for that. I've been in that.
And maybe at that point, would you try to, if you're still, it's just a short period where you're buying from, maybe you should help that grower develop some type of verification, some program, because they had nothing.
So we began helping somebody, I cannot say names because I signed too many non-disclosures, but 2 years ago, and we're auditing 5 growers this Saturday, like third-party audit. But it took time. It went from 0. And you can do this many ways. You can have auditors that probably could do this in 3 weeks, but we actually took the time to do things right. And now, getting 5 suppliers, they didn't have anything, now they have everything. But that's up to you, right? That's why upper management decides. Because one of the things you have to come back to reality is that whichever product you import from anywhere in the world, you're responsible for that food. Whatever happens after you import that food, you're responsible. That's why the FSVP importer has to be in the US. The importer of record, for you too, it could be anywhere. It could be Amazon, it could be whomever you want. It could be the grower. But the FSVP importer needs to be in the US. Yep, any more questions? Those are good questions. Yeah.
I'll get back to my question. Regarding the commodity product or HTS on the certificate, I mean, it says either or. Can we put the product or the HTS number? That's my question.
It says either or, use whichever one you can use on your system. The THS number will do it. You have to have the number that links that certificate to the supplier. That's all you need. And it's right there. Which system you use, ACE, or, well, you probably have another software.
We have another, but we don't, the grower or the, is the one who does the certificates and has them certified and all that. But one of our clients was asking, hey, do we have to put the HTS number? Can we just put tomatoes or something just as basic?
Put the number that identifies that supplier, or what that is in the certificate. Because they have a certificate, the import certificate, whichever number they got on that, that's what you got to put. So their certification body issues an import certificate.
Right, but on that certificate, it does, from what I read on the website, it says you can put either the product or the HTS number that we use in order to cross it. And so they were like, hey, do we have to just leave the product name on it, or do we have to put the HTS number, the harmonized tariff number?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm on another screen on your system. I was thinking to keep track. It's up to you, whichever one you want to use. Because now you're doing that not for the organic, you're doing that for the product that is getting imported.
Right.
So the commodity will do, tomatoes, organic tomatoes. If it's organic, you have to do the organic tomatoes, right? If you use the tariff, there's a tariff number for organic tomatoes. Yeah. Just link that to whatever the certificate it has. So, but I tell you what, if that's not convincing, I'll talk to a USDA.
Yes.
Go to the USDA, send them an email, and they'll respond to you. Well, better yet, there's a website called it's not in there. Hold on. Identify the commodity as organic. That's what you gotta do. But well, I'm gonna have to use something else. Okay, whatever. Yeah, right here. Give me 1 second, 1 second. So, no, it's not gonna be here. You're gonna have to go to the USDA because it's a different program. Let me find some direct lines for you. And I'll owe you that. But the commodity, as long as it's organic and you write organic, should be okay. This is not the same as tomato than organic tomatoes. What I'll get, I better have them give you the answer. I want to make mistakes and then it comes back a $1,000,000. Any more questions? Come on. We're almost there, but not there yet. The system should be able to link it. Is that your own software, or do you have a third party?
Well, this is coming from the certificate that is certified down in Mexico by the USDA. I don't do it. They just provide the certificate number we enter into our software.
Right.
Okay. So our growers/client down in Mexico is asking if when they fill out that form, if they can just leave out the tariff number or they can just put the product, or do they have to put both on them?
They can
Because
use
part-
either one or the other.
Okay.
And they don't fill out the certificate. The certification body is the one that provides the certificate to them.
Right,
So,
but they post that question to the certifying body, but the certifying body has not really given them a true answer, because part of the problem, like with tomatoes, is throughout the year, they use different tariff numbers, and sometimes what happens is that same tariff number may be handled from, let's say, January to March, and then back in maybe from October to December.
so I don't think that's an organic question, is it? It's more of a tariffs question.
Well, it's a combination, I think it's kind of a combination of deals, that's what they're asking, is do you have to use, can we use, which is another question, which means, can we do multiple certificates, or can we use just the same one certificate and say, look, from January 1st to December 1st, we're bringing in 1 million pounds of tomatoes, and just put in the subheading and say, hey, we're gonna use it. We know that the tariff number for that particular product switches to different tariff numbers, but sometimes throughout the year, we'll use the same tariff number instead of trying to get out multiple certificates.
So that's up to the certification body. The certification body can give you one certificate for the whole season, or it can give you one certificate per load, or it can give you one certificate for the volume of boxes that you're gonna import. So the best scenario is that your supplier talks to the certification body and tells them, hey, I need it for X amount of time, X amount of boxes, because they can issue in different ways, but each certification body will do something different. So it's up to them. It's not a standard. I know the standard is that they can issue it for a period of time, volume, dates, that's about it. So they produce tomatoes the whole year, then they can give a certificate for the whole year, but it's up to the certification body to decide. One certification body might just give you for 3 months. The other one might just give you for 20 loads. So your certificate could be changing. So, yeah. We need to review the certificate. So they need to talk to their certification body. That's as far as I can get. Into tariffs, I don't get it. But I'll get the right channels.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question though. Anybody else? Everybody's falling asleep now. All right, so if you guys don't have any more questions, it's 10 to 12. I usually finish around this time, give 10 minutes for questions. Any other related question? Traceability. So, before I forget, for those of you that sell to Walmart, as of August of this year, social responsibility audits are unannounced. Okay? So you can get an announced SMETA audit anytime. Yeah.
Even if in like in our case, we're not notified our customers, but they do come out on facility.
Yeah, because you're part of the supply chain, I will suggest that you start getting certified on the SMETA or some other social responsibility
Us as a warehouse or our customers.
as a warehouse. So if they ask you, then you're already there in the database. Bring it up to them, but they're probably gonna tell you the same thing.
Our customers.
Yeah. Because their suppliers are already, they should be already certified.
When is this?
Well, you should, as of August of this year, all the social responsibility audits for Walmart are unannounced.
So they can go to our warehouse,
Unannounced.
even though we have other customers?
Yeah. But at least for that customer. But you haven't registered to be under the social responsibility program yet, so they might never go because they don't have you registered. So talk to your clients, tell them what they need. The other one is, there's gonna be increase, well, Costco began something really interesting. Costco now requires you to have unannounced audits, and they have to be scheduled within 45 days of your current audit. So you have to ask your certification body to get your unannounced audit with Costco. And what's happened is that a lot of, well, not a lot, the certification body is now gonna start increasing the unannounced audits to most of their clients, right? Certification body, Primos, or KIMA, or any other, WQS, SES, whichever. So just be prepared, because you might get an unannounced audit at any time. It has nothing to do with Costco. Now it's getting there as part of the industry requirements. And the third one that we talked at the beginning is your traceability. All right, start working on it because time is gonna fly. If anybody has a company that would like to partner with us and run a software, because we also have a software company, and get it for free to find out if our system works and it does what you need, please see me and we'll be willing to do this for free. So beta site. And that's all I got. See, if you don't have any more questions, Freddie, anything you might want to, oh, then you have the.
No, I just, you guys know the drill. Scan the QR code. Let's see, you guys have a couple of minutes just to fill out that survey, and to sign in. And I know you guys would be, you guys have something in mind, not versus this other topic versus this? Let us know. This is for you guys, brought to you from the city of Par Bridge. And Ricardo, muchas gracias. Thank you, sir.
No worries, thank you. Gracias por la invitación.
I know Ricardo is always available for you guys, and I think that's important for everybody, for us as well. And to get this evaluated as a topic for you guys, and for that reason, we just round of applause for you guys for attending.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here.
The presentation, would you send it over, or
Yeah, I can send it to you. I have no issues with it.
just in case that people ask?
Yeah, and I have a few links that I'm gonna send to you.
Yeah.
I lost one that I really need to show, but who's the technical expert?